Dale digs down under. I'm digging down under me shed. Well guys, turns out I'm so bloody impatient, I've taken another 14 buckets out of the hole. It's about 800 mil underneath the shed now, that cavity that I've dug out. It's not all the way 800 mil though. What I did yesterday afternoon was clear out the base of this post. I wanted to see what was going on down here. I'm really glad that I bloody did now. Turns out there was dirt all the way between here and here. There's a steel post that goes down inside the little footing here. Then there's a flat plate, and then that flat plate's bolted onto the pole that goes up into the shed. So you can see that bit of a metal post there underneath it. Just in case you didn't follow what I was talking about there, you can see this column that comes down here and stops there. That's in the original bloody bit of concrete that I've chipped away. That looks like that, and it's got a plate on the top of it, and then that plate bolts to the column that goes up inside the shed. What I propose to do is get rid of all of that bottom bit, weld on another bit of RHS, and extend it all the way down into the bottom, so it'll go all the way down into here, and then I'll dig another footing here for that column to go into, and then that'll support the shed all the way up, rather than that bit there just being inside the wall, because the wall part is going to be sitting 200 mil out from there, so the actual concrete will sit about here on this face, and then that column will go all the way down inside it to support the shed. Worked out I won't have to take these bloody wall sheets off the shed anymore. What I'm going to do is go along here with my little mattock, and then I'm just going to dig in about 200 mil straight underneath the shed, and I'm going to concrete this section in, and I'm going to have the mesh protrude in underneath as well, and this should actually hold up the lip of the shed here. I'm also going to be propping it up as I go in underneath too. That's going to be the mission for this one, and also depending on how the time goes, I want to get something set up for the electrics down inside the hole so I can actually plug this bloody controller in down there, and then I can just hang this power cable off the wall. Alright, enough gas bagging about it. Let's bloody get this stuff done, eh? That's got that cleaned out beautifully, eh? Have a look at that little ledge. Slab sitting on that with some Rio mesh coming out of it. That'll be nice and strong. Shouldn't have any collapses from that. 14mm bit in my hammer drill. Let's throw some holes in this thing, eh? When you're using one of these things as well, don't just keep pushing it in like you would with a drill bit. You want to clear your hole as you go. So I do about 400mm centers, or about 10 inches. No, it's more than 10 inches, isn't it? Oh, I don't bloody know inches. Grab a few of these dowel pins. See if they're all going to fit, eh? Should go really nice. You can push it all the way home. Don't need a hammer. That's exactly what we're looking for. Perfect. Quickly knock this bit of a bloody dag off. That's not the right setting. There we go, that's the one we want. Easy days. Now I've got that all dug out and ready to go, I've had to chuck in a pipe at the other end. So what this pipe's going to be for is to run these solar power cables that I got here. I know it's very dodgy, but these are all the power cables that connect my power wall that's in the shed. So that's not the right conduit to be using for electricity, but it doesn't really matter because it's only DC power and I don't think there's any regulations on that here.
And I couldn't get hold of any bloody electrical conduit that's going to be big enough to haul cables in the future. There's just nothing available at the shops. So this will do for the job, and what I'm going to do is just extend this little bit here up in underneath that rib, and then I'll be able to feed the cables down later on when I cut them off and put in a new bloody breaker up on the roof. Taped up the other end of it just to make sure it doesn't get any crap in it, and I'll dig that up later on after I've got the slab in. So I'll backfill that. I've got the boxing and everything up. That's ready to go. That one there is dead level that way, and then everything's going to fall this way along the shed, and then all of this falls until it reaches its slab, and then everything going to fall this way, and then it's going to drop down and then follow the existing drain along the shed there. Before I go attaching the able flex to the shed, I'll have to pull these dowel pins back out. But what I did is I put a little tiny black mark on the slab, so they're all above exactly where the dowel pins are. And once I've got the able flex on, I can put the dowel pins right where they're supposed to be, and I won't have to be poking it trying to find the bloody hole. Now I've got all of that sorted out, we'll go and have a play with this wiring, eh? There's not a great deal more I can do there. Well, went down the shop just before and got us some trailer plugs. So I'm going to put one of these up the top, one of these down the bottom. I'm just going to put one of these on the end of the controller. So let's get that stuff wired up. First thing I've done is I pulled apart the old bloody loom. Here's how I connected this stuff together. I retained the original bloody female connectors that are on these two wires, and then this blue and grey one, that just wired into the back of the controller and went in with a screw fitting. So if I've ever got to do a warranty job on it, I can actually just pop this apart, pop the controller apart, put it all back together exactly how it was, and I haven't modified the device in any way. So I'll unscrew these connectors, pop these apart, and then I'll cut the cable about here and then strip back a little bit more of that insulation tape, wire that part that connects up to the controller into the back of that insert bit, and then I'll wire the other end of it here into one of them plugs. Then I'll set up that plug right there with the cable coming out and over the top of it, and then I can plug the remote into it there, and I'll be able to plug one in down the hole. That's the side setup for the remote control. It's ready to go. I've done a bit of wiring here and linked up this bit, so the receiver plug's ready to go, and I got a bit of trailer lead, 7-core trailer wire, and I've hooked that into it, and that'll be fed down into the shed below and hooked up into that wall there. So I got it plugged in now. I've got all this bit wired up. Nothing went stupid when I bloody plugged the power back in, so we'll plug in the remote. There we go. No bloody smoke came out. Oh geez, look out. I've got a wire disconnected there. Quickly hook that back up. Okay, plugged it back in again. If you're going to do anything with electricals, make sure you bloody unplug it every time. That's not very good either, letting it dangle against a metal chain. But we're right. Let's grab this bloody remote. I had the remote on isolate as well, so we'll see if it didn't do anything funny then. Let's press down. Oh, it's working. Bloody beauty. Now I've got that sorted out. I'll go and screw that up onto the board. Didn't want to put it in place until I knew it worked. Geez, that looks snazzy up there, doesn't it? Nice little plug setup, ready to go. Just put a couple of screws in there to hold that one up in place. I've already run that cable for the downstairs bit. That goes down and then tucks in beside the wall and goes around the form ply. And get down there and hook that up. I got this steel cable that comes with the original setup. What I plan to do is just chuck a screw or something through that into there, so it's at a shorter distance than the electrical cable, and that way when this gets pulled away from it, this bit here will pull it up and stop me from stretching the cables and yanking on all of that. So that'll work out bloody sweet. Well, let's climb down there and go and set up the bottom bit. I've got that cable tucked away up in behind the boards now, rolled up neatly in the corner, and I've got this fitting hooked up, plugged in the controller. Let's test this from down the bottom, eh? See if she works. Oh, look at that. She's on the money. Makes life too easy, this now. I don't have all this cabling hanging down from up the top. Nothing to jam it on. It works perfect. Oh, great. Alright guys, well that's all completed. I'm stoked about that. We've got about a week to wait for the concrete now, so it's next Saturday that's coming in. Booked early in the morning. Hopefully we don't get too much more rain. It's bloody raining again now. Remember, small knocks break bloody big rocks. See you next time.